I think we're good. That's pretty cool. I wish I would.
Hey,
We're too
now
busy
on
yapping. Okay, so anyways, focus.
Okay, well, before we get to the review, though, I've got to ask you: did you see the Superman trailer that dropped this morning?
I saw a picture. I did not see it. I saw pictures. I'm already turned off by the S, but that's just a little thing on me. So I didn't realize a trailer dropped today. How was it?
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I think some of the things that people are complaining about in the trailer are kind of either A, nitpicky, or B, are just the kind of things that people say because they want this to fail.
Oh,
I never go to a movie wanting it to be bad. I go to a movie because I want it to be awesome.
of
You
course.
know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm looking at this trailer like it's James Gunn. He's got the history with Marvel. He's got some experience and successes with Marvel. He's seen their blueprint, how they do things. He's coming into this with some of those sensibilities, but he wants to still make it different from Marvel, and I get that. That's fine. I talked about some of my concerns with his approach towards what he's doing with DC, and I still have those concerns. This trailer did not do much to alleviate those concerns. I do have a couple of things I'm a little concerned with. Overall, the trailer was pretty awesome. I know in our Twitter room earlier, Tex was kind of complaining about how they opened the trailer with Superman looking kind of beat up. He's like, you shouldn't lead with your big character being beat up. I'm like, well, Superman's been beat up by a lot of people. It's not like he doesn't get punched every now and again. The Christopher Reeves ones. I mean, Lex Luthor, who was really, really smart, but otherwise kind of a potato. Yeah. Manages to trick him into opening the case. It's got the kryptonite rock in it, and then pretty much take it. Miss Tessmacher needed to save him in that movie. Without Miss Tessmacher, there might not have been another second movie.
This is true. Yeah,
he gets beat up by Zod. He gets beat up by Crazy Nuclear Man in that fourth movie that nobody wants to admit never happened.
So awful.
I mean, in the newer stuff, he gets beat up on. He gets killed in the DCEU by Doomsday.
By Doomsday.
So it's not like the hero can't get knocked around. I like the fact that there is somebody out there that is his physical equal that is going to give him problems. So I'm digging it. The whole Crypto the dog, I'm like, Krypton or Crypto. What's the dog's name? I forget anyway. But it's like that. I think that stuff's good for the comic books and cartoons, live action.
Not so much.
I'm not sure how it's going to work. I mean, it worked okay for the trailer, but I'm on the fence. I'm going to watch the movie and see how it all fits in before I pass too much judgment. But I'm still kind of like, meh. As far as him fighting a kaiju or a dragon, I don't really understand. It's like it's a cool visual. It was a really cool visual, but I'm like, is he fighting Lex? Is he fighting somebody else? But somehow this dragon kaiju Godzilla thing, I don't understand. They did show a lot of the other little glimpses of a lot of the other superheroes are going to be in this. There's going to be plenty, which is one of my concerns. This movie needs to really establish Superman.
Yeah,
to have it overcrowded with. I think a couple of months ago we were talking about this on a stream, and I was like, "There's going to be something like 8 or 9 other superhero characters in some." Or comic book characters that are important in this movie. It showed you Hawk Girl. It showed you Guy Gardner's Green Lantern. It showed you Supergirl is going to be in it, although she's not in the trailer. You got Crypto the dog. You've got Mr. Terrific is going to be in it. It's like it's already a little overstuffed for a movie that really needs to establish Superman in this world, and I'm a little concerned about that. Now, if they're just kind of bit players that show up here and there, I'm okay with it. Again, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know what it's going to look like. But it's I just don't know yet. I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I was just thinking as you were rattling off the people who are going to be in the movie, and it's like, well, cool. You think about all the really good, like to me, and I know I've said this before on my show, like Captain America is my favorite Marvel movie. And it was based solely around Captain America without any sprinkling. And you think all the main movies, like even Thor, I mean, let's take away Loki, but Thor was Thor. I'm trying to, off the top of my head, Iron Man just had Iron Man, right? That's the focus. And I think you nailed that, Frank, is that he should be the main character that you are focusing on. Because like you said, you want to reestablish Superman as Superman, right? They might be muddying up the waters with a lot of different characters being introduced.
Yeah, my other concern is James Gunn has this affinity for really obscure characters. And And it kind of worked with the Guardians of the Galaxy, who were kind of like C-level comic book characters that like comic book nerds liked, but the general public, which is who buys most of your tickets to your movies, probably had no idea who the hell they were until they announced the movie. They had to do some research to figure out who the hell Rocket Raccoon was.
Yes.
But I don't know that he's going to be able to hit that stride the same way in this universe, because you have to have Superman and Batman. Those are the two biggest comic book characters ever. Yeah, you're eventually going to have Wonder Woman. You're bringing in Green Lantern, that's fine. How are they going to approach Aquaman if they want to try to touch on that character again? I think Kevin Momoa has pretty much moved on. You mean Jason? Jason Momoa, yeah. I think Jason Momoa has moved on from it. I think he's going to play Diablo. That's what the whisper's been for the last year and a half or so.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah,
but I mean, are they gonna try to do an Aquaman again? You can't really you can't start this franchise on obscure characters like Mr. Terrific. You mean the character that was like a third wheel in the Arrowverse, in the Arrow TV show? It's like you're gonna make him one of your stars? It's like
yeah.
I don't know about that. So like, and Crypto, Supergirl, which I kind of works. You can make that happen, but how important is she going to be a part of like the Justice League right from the jump? Because she's not a big part of the Justice League in a lot of the comics, certainly not in the 70s cartoons that I grew up watching. But it's like, I don't know. You get too obscure, you're going to kind of run off even the casual fans. But I don't know. Overall, I really liked it. We got a good look at Lex Luthor. I think he's going to be fantastic in this. Way better than Jesse Eisenberg, who I just don't think ever fit the part. Okay. It has a little bit of the slightly darker than Marvel, but still a very kind of bright Superman world that feels a little bit more like the old Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
But with kind of a sheen like the Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. It has that kind of color palette, which I kind of liked.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. I liked it. As far as casting the big characters, Lois Lane's obviously going to be in it. Jimmy Olsen's going to be in it. Perry White's going to be in it. So those characters are important to the Superman storyline. So I like having them. All the other ancillary characters, though, I mean, I feel like he's on the verge of making the same mistake that DC made when they first came out with like Batman versus Superman. You're trying to get back in the game with Marvel with one swing. Don't swing for the fences, because when you swing for the fences, usually what ends up happening is you strike out.
Yeah.
So establish your universe, establish your characters, build this universe, then come in for that big crossover where everybody's together fighting whatever. And you've established these characters, and you get right into the movie the way that Marvel did with the Avengers.
Yes.
They established 3 or 4 characters before they got into the Avengers. And so when that movie starts, you're right in the mix. You're not trying to figure out, wait a minute, where's this person from?
Yeah.
This person started over here. Haven't seen this person since the first Superman movie 5 years ago. It's there's a little bit, I don't know. I'm not sure with the way he's approaching it so far, but I mean, I overall I thought the trailer was very good. I was very happy to see it. I watched it a couple times today. I actually watched it at half speed today when I got home, and I got a chance to sit at my computer to try to catch some of the little details. There are a few in there that are pretty interesting. But you know, we're gonna see. So I mean, go to YouTube. Check it out. It's got, I think when I checked a little bit ago, it already had 15 million views. It just got released about 12 hours ago at 9:00 a.m. my time. So it's definitely getting some traffic. Go check it out and let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the Superman trailer, which is coming out July 11th. Also, I think we're getting another trailer in the Super Bowl. I was actually really surprised that they released a full trailer now. I really thought they just wait another couple of months.
Yeah, you figured they would have done just a teaser, yeah.
The movie comes out in July 11th. The Super Bowl in February would have been a perfect place to really go balls deep into the marketing. But go ahead, release it now. They're probably going to come out with a bigger extended trailer for the Super Bowl in a couple of months, which I think is good. And then that's really where the marketing is going to get going. But yeah, it was a solid trailer. I really like David Cornsweet in the role. I think he looks pretty good. He's not all muscled up like friggin' Henry Cavill. He's not like just a muscle on a muscle sitting on a chunk of muscle. I mean, he's not that ripped. He's got a little bit more of the Christopher Reeve to him. They gave him the curly Q and the hair on his forehead, which is a nice little throwback.
Right now. Yeah.
That's a nice little throwback. I can dig that. Everybody's bitching about the underoos, the red underwear. I'll be honest, I just don't care. There's been Superman costumes with them, without them. I just don't care. I want the movie to be good. If the movie's good, nobody's going to remember if he's wearing red underoos or not over his suit. Nobody's going to care. Make the movie good, and that's not going to be the biggest issue. The problem is if the movie sucks, they're going to go to that as one of the reasons the movie sucks.
Oh,
like you guys are totally missing it. You guys are totally missing it.
but that's, I mean, we're talking about that's just how things are done today, right? Like that, everyone looks at that little bit and then they'll just feed on that little bit of stuff. So as right now, as I'm looking on YouTube, so IGN's website on YouTube has 1.4 million. DC's YouTube channel, sorry, has 16 million. And then of course it breaks down and everyone else has already looked at it. So yeah. I don't know. I myself fell out of the superhero thing when the Avengers ended. And then Marvel, or not Marvel, so yes, Marvel just basically went, here, take this. And I was like, I'm confused and I don't want to watch this anymore. Kind of pushed me away. They oversaturated it big time.
Well, a big problem with that, we've talked about this before, is Bob Chapek took over for Bob Iger. And Bob Chapek, being a money guy and not a creative guy, looked at it and said, hey, we release 3 of these movies a year. They all make a 1.2 billion on average. Why don't we release 6 of these movies in a year and make 6 point whatever instead of 3 point whatever? Not being a creative person and taking the power away from the creatives. He did not realize that when you dilute your product like that, you get diminishing returns. And so what ended up happening is there's only one Kevin Feige who's running Marvel. He can help organize 2 or 3 movies and 1 or 2 shows in a year. But when you got 6 movies and 5 and 10 TV shows, I think, coming out in 1 year,
yeah,
there's only so much of him to spread around. He couldn't keep a tab on the quality of all these things. The quality started to slip. So when Bob Iger came back in after Chapek got sent packing, the first thing he did was pull everything off the calendar. The only thing that came out in 2024 for Marvel, other than Agatha All Along, which was deep into production anyway, was Deadpool. That was the only Marvel product that we got on the big screen this year. He said, pull everything back. He killed a bunch of stuff that was not necessary. He's like, we need to boil this down to 3 to 4 projects a year. They're going to help us keep the narrative of the MCU going. And that's why Blade, which was supposed to come out 3 or 4 years ago, hasn't come out yet. That's why a lot of these movies just never really made it out, because Bob Iger said we need to concentrate on quality over quantity. So I don't need to make 10 movies a year. I can make 3 movies a year as long as we're keeping the universe right, because that's how it was going when he was a CEO. Bob Chapek took over, and he was just like, I just want money. And he took creative control away from guys like Kevin Feige, from Jon Favreau over at Lucasfilm. He took creative control away from those guys and gave it to a bunch of pencil puss and dickheads that he went to Harvard with or some shit like that. Yeah. Guys who know how to press buttons on calculators and move beads around the abacus, but they don't know how to create a story. They took the control away from those guys and gave it to these dickheads, and that's what ended up happening. You saw Phase 4, which really stumbled a lot, but now they're going to right the ship. They're going to right the ship, I think, and hopefully James Gunn is going to take some of those lessons and he's going to put together something really strong to build on with the DCU, this new universe they've got going. I'm confident in James Gunn. I think he's going to do well.
And I hope he does. I really hope he does.
But what's up, Stuart? Good to see you, buddy. Get a hold of me, Stuart. Give me an address. I got a bunch of posters here I'm going to send you, pal. Let's see. The Reverend is here, coming over from your show. What's up, Rev? Good to see you here, my friend. And BJ here as well. I don't know where your son is. He did not text me at all saying he wasn't going to be here. All he did was text me saying, sorry, I texted it out and then never sent you anything, which I guess means he wasn't going to be on tonight. But I'm sure he's doing something relatively important. But probably hanging out with his wife, trying to give her attention. Whatever.
God.
Why marriage is a bad idea. Wives suck up all your time. But
I have one of those, so I'm not gonna agree with you.
I have a girlfriend who yells at me about not being married all the time, so I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful what buttons I press. but let's get into why we're here now, and that is, of course, to talk about another great Christmas movie that came out in 1990. It is Die Hard 2. Let's see. It is the 1990 American action thriller film directed by Rennie Harlan, written by Stephen E. D'Souza and Doug Richardson. Produced by Joel Silver. The film stars Bruce Willis as John McClane, William Sadler, Franco Nero, Dennis Franz, Fred Thompson, and John Amos, with Bonnie Bedelia, William Atherton, and Reginald VelJohnson returning from the previous movie in smaller roles. As with the first film, the action of Die Hard 2 takes place on Christmas Eve, making it a Christmas movie, Tex. You heard me. McClane is waiting for his wife to land at Washington Dulles International Airport when terrorists take over the air traffic control system. He must stop the terrorists before his wife's plane and several other incoming flights that are circling the airport run out of fuel and crash. During the night, McClane must also contend with the airport police and a military commander, none of whom want his assistance. The film was released to generally positive reviews, with critics praising the film's action and tone, While criticizing elements of the plot, Die Hard 2 was a major box office success, grossing $240 million, doubling the earnings of its predecessor, and finishing as the year's 7th highest grossing film. On Rotten Tomatoes, Die Hard 2 has an approval rating of 69% based on 68 reviews, with an average rating of 6.3 out of 10. The site's critical consensus review reads, quote, "It lacks the fresh thrills of its predecessor, but Die Hard 2 still works on an over-the-top and reasonably taut big-budget sequel with plenty of set pieces to paper over the plot deficiencies." I think that's kind of valid. I give it a little bit more credit than that, but I don't know. Give me your quick thoughts on this movie before we get into the spoiler stuff, Nick.
Well, first off, I didn't realize John Leguizamo was in the movie. Sorry if I took any trivia. I was just kind of looking through it. It was fun. I mean, you're going. This is, yes, it's 1990, but we're going on. This is an 80s action movie. All right, this is like, however you say, like, this is okay. Here's your popcorn. Enjoy the movie. Like, leave your brain at the door. It's gonna be fun and lots of action and shooting. Apparently, no bad guys in the 80s had aim worth a shit. Even top level elite like killers don't have good aim. But for what it was a lot of fun. I'd seen the movie a lot, but had been a hot minute, so I had to refresh myself, and I still enjoyed it. So yeah, it's an action movie from the 80s, 90s. Enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. Look, some of these action movies, and I've said it before, just turn your brain off and enjoy. Stuff your face full of popcorn, turn your brain off, and watch the planes blow up, and watch McClane get into a gunfight with somebody in the airport, which you could have done in 1990. You can't do it now, but you could have done it in 1990.
Yes, definitely.
I think it's a very serviceable sequel. I don't understand. I don't understand why people have shit on this movie when it's every bit as good as the first one. I mean, I like the fact that they changed the setting. It's not just in a high rise again. Because if you regurgitate too much shit from the first movie, that's where you have that's where you end up running into some problems. But it was fun. It was good. He's in a different place. He's an LA cop now, not a New York cop. But it's Christmas again. He's in an airport. It's a fresh look at kind of the old cliche of, gruff cop finds himself caught in this crazy situation. That it was a fresh take on all that. So yeah, I think it's a great sequel. I think it works very, very well. Bruce Willis at this point was already a bona fide action star. I don't remember exactly what he did between Die Hard and this one. I know he had one other film. He was I think Moonlighting had pretty much wrapped up at this point. I don't know what else he had done, but I mean, a couple years after this, he had like The Last Boy Scout and some stuff. So I mean, this movie, if it wasn't already done, cemented him as the action star, and it also did something the first movie did. It had a really good bad guy, not as good as the first movie, but still pretty damn good, still pretty intimidating and pretty wild. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go on. Right now, let's talk about Rennie Harlin, the director. He's done plenty of stuff. Let's see. He's got the horror background too. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. He did Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea, the action films. Obviously, he did do one absolute bomb that, even though it didn't do very well and it has got kind of critically beat up, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay is still plenty funny. Yeah. but I mean, what do you think about the works of Rennie Harlin and what he did with this film?
You want to know what? I really enjoyed it. And before we go on, so in between Die Hards, he did Look Who's Talking. He was the voice for Mickey. But okay. I thought he did very well. It had the same kind of feel as the first Die Hard did. It had like a little bit of a grainy look to it, I thought. Like he didn't do overproduction. I thought maybe that's also because of the time that he made it. Yeah, I didn't realize how many movies he's done. Like holy crap, like good movies he's directed. And he's also doing the new Strangers, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, which I'm looking forward to because I really like the Strangers. I thought it was very well done. I thought the action shots were really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I can't really, I'm sitting here trying to think of stuff that I might not have liked, but for, again, what it was, I quite enjoyed it.
But like I said, you can't, I mean, I won't knock anything he did with this film narratively. He puts the movie together really, really well. Because one of the funny things that people need to realize about movies like this is they're not supposed to have, in real life, this thing would not happen in an organized manner. So the fact that everything happens kind of disorganized in the movie fits the movie. It's kind of, it's a little just enough dose of reality to make this movie a bit more, make this movie hit a bit different. Rennie Harlan, I think, is a good director. I mean, Die Hard 2, he did Cliffhanger, which is one of the underrated Stallone movies. I don't know why that movie doesn't get more love.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't.
He did do that terrible movie Cutthroat Island, which is called one of the biggest box office bombs ever.
It was horrible.
It was not good. It was not good at all. He did Deep Blue Sea, which is another good action movie.
I love Deep Blue Sea.
He did The Covenant, which is a movie that I liked a lot when it came out in 2006. For being kind of a YA dark witchcraft kind of thing, I thought that movie was actually pretty good. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I like that movie a lot. Obviously, he's doing Strangers chapters 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 are all in post production right now.
Okay, are they in post? Okay.
And he's got a couple movies that production is still to be announced. He's got one called Deepwater, one called The Beast, which is about the president. It's about the president's vehicle, the Beast, the limo that he drives in. Apparently, I think Samuel L. Jackson plays the president, and Joel Kinnaman plays a Secret Service agent. Something happens to the Beast. I don't really know. I don't know the plot yet. And he's got another one coming out called The Postcard Killings with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Famke Jackson, which, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to be good.
Yeah.
But one movie he did that I really liked that a lot of people said was terrible was Driven with Sylvester Stallone. You ever see that movie?
No, I haven't.
He plays the Formula One racer. I'm not going to lie. It's not a great
yes,
movie.
I have. Yes, I have. As soon as you said that, I didn't click on it. I was thinking about what's his dick? The guy that's married to the hot. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, I've seen this movie back when it came out. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That movie was actually not bad to watch. I remember I hadn't seen it. It'd been out for a while. I hadn't seen it. And I think I had flown to California that year to go visit my home. And on the way back, that movie was playing on the airplane, and I was just like, "Holy shit! This movie's actually not that bad." It's not great. It's not Stallone's best work. I think, if I recall, I think Stallone said this is one of the 3 movies he said he wished he had never done.
Really?
But I'm just like that movie's kind of dope. I mean, it was Stallone was kind of transitioning from being able to play Rocky to being the older guy.
Mm-hmm.
So being the action star was starting to kind of evade him. This is before he managed to pull himself out of the muck of being the old man and did stuff like the Expendables and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's like him being the elder statesman in kind of an action movie worked really well. I actually thought it was pretty well done. I'm not really a Formula One fan. I'm not much of a racing fan anyway, but I mean, it was a little too much soap opera-y drama in spots, but I thought it was actually pretty cool. I like the movie. I've watched it a couple times over the years. I think it's pretty cool. But what he did with this movie, I thought was fantastic. Again, he gave it a different look, a different feel, changing the setting. He brought in a good bad guy.
Yes.
Movies are only as good as their villain. He brought in a good villain. I think one of the things that this franchise has always had, with the exception of the last film, is there was a good villain. The last film, I think one of the things it suffered from is the villain wasn't very likable.
Wasn't very good.
He wasn't cool. Every one of the villains in the first 4 films were actually really, really cool villains.
Yeah.
So I think that's really where he kind of makes this movie happen the most was having William Sadler as the villain, who I think is an absolute star. But what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
Well, I just want to go back to Driven for a second. That's Gina Gershon was in that back when Gina Gershon was Gina Gershon.
Yeah, she was
I
hot.
forgot how beautiful of a woman she was, or probably still is. I hope she's aged like a fine wine, but oh my goodness, what a beautiful woman. She's, when you talk about girls that you used to have crushes on, our age is always we go to like Selma Hayek, or I was always a Drew Barrymore guy, always. But I forget about Gina Gershon. Like, actually, great googly moogly. Oh,
a good Canadian kid, Estella Warren, was in it as well. Very young, very hot.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But yes, like you said, a good bad guy, because that's always key. You got to have the good antagonist for your protagonist, right? And yeah, very well done. And a nice, like, my wife actually forgot about the whole the switch from the army troop there.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they like, she's like, I forgot. And I remembered, of course, but I was like, that was a nice little twist to change it up from the first movie, that the swerve you didn't really see coming. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought, they changed enough of it, but kept it was, And back to the beginning, like you said, with like, I like how he just didn't stay in New York and they didn't explain. He actually moved to LA and became an officer out in LA, or a detective. So yeah, it was an awesome, good continuation from the first Die Hard in that way.
Yeah, you've already touched on it a little bit. What do you think of the cast of this movie? I mean, again, loaded with some really great actors, a great bad guy. What do you think of the cast of the movie, and who stood out to you the most?
Well, Dennis Franz, I just wanted to punch him in the face because he's doing his job of, oh, I don't believe you and blur, 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 right? And then Fred Thompson, I like Fred Thompson. Like I didn't click on his name yet to see the other movies that he's done but Hunt for Red October was awesome. A No Way Out was good. I'm trying to see that, so there's a movie sticking in my head about him that I really, really liked.
He was in Flight of the Intruder. He was in one of my favorite 80s kind of goofy comedies called Feds.
Cape Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that was Flight of the Intruder. But yeah, I really liked it. Like, it wasn't too over the top. And yeah, Cape Fear was the big. That's it. Thanks, Stuart. Yeah, that was like, yeah, it was bugging me and I didn't look at it. Gotta click back here for cast. John Amos, yeah, the Army Ranger leader. Like I said, I didn't know John Lozano was in there until I clicked on him and hey, I didn't even know he was in here. William Sadler, great bad guy. What else has he been in? I'm gonna click on his name to cheat here, but what else has he been in?
He was in Shawshank Redemption. He played Death in the Bill and Ted movies.
Haywood.
I'm pretty sure he played in one of the versions of Mice and Men. I think he may have played that. I'm not 100% sure. I've seen him in stuff forever.
He's actually, this says, as I clicked on his name here, he's going to be in the new Salem's Lot.
Oh, nice.
Just trying to think of what I might have seen him in here. I never saw From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. It was only 2 episodes.
I never did either. I was never interested in it.
Yeah, okay. Well, he was in 2 of the episodes, I must say. So, Machete Kills. That's okay. I remember he was the sheriff. Okay. Iron Man 3 present. See, I didn't like Iron Man 3. So I think I watched it once. I don't remember anything from it. But yeah, again, a great cast. Good bad guy.
Yeah, this cast is kind of amazing. I mean, obviously, who we were talking about, fucking William Sadler playing a great bad guy. I mean, that was one of the most important things to nail in this movie. He is he is a lot like. He is a lot like the bad guy from the first one, like Alan Rickman's. He's kind of deliciously a bad guy. He's got he's not quite as funny. He doesn't quite carry the humorous side of being the villain the way that Alan Rickman did in the first one. But he does have this weird swagger and confidence that most bad guys don't have. A lot of bad guys in movies like this seem kind of reactive. They're a little too hot-headed. And I think that's one of the reasons why people think that they make good bad guys. The reality is he's in control for 95% of this movie. It's like he's winning for 95% of this movie. I mean, for all of John McClane's efforts, he's behind the 8 ball for forever until the very end of this movie, which makes it funner. Yeah. But the other thing is somebody already talked about it in the chat, is John Amos. He just passed away in the last couple of months. John Amos for years has been one of my favorite actors. Like I've never seen somebody grab my eyes when he's on screen the way that he does. I mean, I'm a big fan of The West Wing, the TV show. He played the chairman of the Joint Chiefs on several episodes of that as Admiral Fitzwallace. When he walks on screen in that show, the tone of that show completely changes. There is a firm presence there that just grabs you. Also, I grew up watching Good Times back in the 70s and early 80s. Where he played the father on Good Times. So good. So many movies. Coming to America, obviously. He plays the big Leo McDowell. There's such a great, talented actor, such a great presence. I was so bummed when he passed away. A couple of my favorite actors, a couple of character actors have passed away over the course of last year that I'll talk about in the New Year's stream when I talk about some of the things that have happened over the course of the year in entertainment. But man, he really does stand out, and not to mention his death was pretty dope.
Yes, and I that was what I was going to bring up here. I wonder, Sorry, PJ just said I like good times. Just the way she said that, I think of that Eddie Murphy. Why would you punch him? I like good times. When he's telling the story about his dad's, I always wonder with a death like that, wouldn't that like? I realized their propellers going super fast, but you always thought because you hear about bird strike. I realized the planes are going a lot faster in the sky when they hit a bird and the engine goes poof. But like, figure a big Faust gentleman like him would have maybe blown some blades apart, but just saying. But yes, he had an awesome death scene. Very good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then, of course, the big explosion at the end, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But this cast was fantastic from start to finish. I also like the way they managed to hold on to a little bit of that animosity between these two characters, between Holly and the news reporter, William Atkinson's character. How they hold on to some of that animosity and use it for a little bit of not tension building, but it's just to remind you that we're in this world and that this guy is still out there. William Atkinson, he's not the bad guy, but he's a great asshole. You know that? I love to see him on screen. And that was one of the things that made the last Ghostbusters movie really great for me, is to see him come back in that role as Walter Peck and to be that kind of just to be an asshole again and to get his in the end just like he did in the first movie. I thought that was a brilliant idea to bring him back.
And the one-liners that she hits him with, like, if you're going to be that close, can I suggest, a change in your aftershave? And perhaps, what did she say, a breath mint?
Yeah, so, I love the back and forth between those two. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of carryover from the first movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fred Dalton Thompson, again, one of those guys. I don't know if you know this or not. He was very nearly president of the United States.
I did not know that.
He actually was a longtime senator from Tennessee who did acting kind of for fun. Oh. So he was in like Hunt for Red October. He was in Flight of the Intruder, which was a movie from the early 90s, I think, with Danny Glover and Willem Dafoe about these Vietnam pilots who got tired of bombing stupid targets and didn't mean anything. So they decided to skip their target one day, fly to Hanoi and bomb Hanoi. He plays like the Air Force or the Army Air Corps general in that movie that at the end of the movie that has to deal with that whole outcome. But I mean, he really was a fantastic actor. And again, himself, much like John Amos, has kind of a unique presence on camera. But yeah, he ran for president twice. He never ran out of the primary, but he was actually one of my dad's favorite actors, I think in large part because of that, because he was a Republican senator from Tennessee. And he just, every time he's on screen, he has this crazy way of bringing a certain sternness. Because like when he's sitting there beating Bruce Willis's ass right then, and Bruce Willis is taking it. Like the lead character is getting talked down to. Maybe not talked down to. He's just kind of. I think in the scene, as I recall, he's just kind of giving him the lay of the land.
He's giving him a little bit of a grinding him ability. Yeah.
But he is so good at delivering dialogue. In every movie, he was in some comedies. He was in some like military movies. He was in. I don't think he did a lot of too much political thrillers, which is odd considering that he was a senator from Tennessee for so long. But he has a way of speaking. He kind of comes from that generation where he had a way of saying things a certain way.
He was a lawyer and attorney before he became an actor. So I could definitely see that by the way he talks and carries himself on screen.
Yeah, but Fred Dalton Thompson was a great actor, someone who I really enjoyed watching. Let's now get to the plot of the movie. I thought it was done pretty well. What do you think of the plot of the film, and is there anything you would have changed?
The only thing that bugged me a little bit was the fuel at the end. I know this might be a nitpicky thing. It's like he saw. I thought he would have seen John grab the thing, and you thought, oh, now again they fought on that wing forever. That wouldn't have happened, of course. This is like, but just like. It's one of those things that you think he would have saw, right? And you figure like, well, I got to close that up because even if we get away here, there we go. Like, we're losing all this fuel. Oh crap, right? Like, but I mean, I did have a question though. Like, I don't know if anyone actually knows this. Like the injector seat scene, I feel that he wouldn't have got the shootout quick enough, though it was very cool. Again, this is nitpicky. Like, could he have reached the gun in Die Hard, like I mentioned in the chat last week, right? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if like the chute would have actually opened in time for him to make a safe landing on the ground. But really, other than that, no, I thought it was nicely done. Yourself?
Yeah, I like the plot. Again, something to point out is this, like the first movie, was based on a book. It's just a separate book from what the first book was based on, a whole separate franchise. But yeah, I like the plot. I mean, it fit in with what was happening in the modern world at the time. Because I know that I think I might have had this in my notes for later on to talk about in trivia. But Rennie Harlan had kind of organized the plot about this dictator from South America around what was happening with like the Iran-Contra affair and everything that was going on in South America at the time, all the political stuff. So yeah, he used what was actually happening in the world to build the story around, and obviously elements from the book, and then just kind of figuring out what John McClane would be doing in this particular situation, putting it all together in this great little potpourri of everything that we got on screen. I love the plot. I thought it was great. Because also you got to remember, back in the 80s, this movie came out in 1990, but back in the 80s, airline terrorism was kind of a big thing. I mean, pre 9/11, I know, but I mean, that was something that was happening a lot all over the world back in the early mid 70s, all through the 80s up into 1990. So this kind of thing was something that was very much on people's minds. Airport security had gone through a lot of changes at this point because of that, things like that. So there was, it really was a modern action thriller that kind of took all the elements of what was happening in real life to make this crazy action story. But yeah, I love the plot. I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, you needed to change something and make it a little bit newer than just having John McClane in a high rise again. If you'd just done that again, I think people would look at it and been like, meh. Now he's in an airport. Now instead of like swinging down from the top floor with a friggin' fire hose wrapped around his waist, now he's trying to find a way to have shootouts in the baggage claim, or or he's running around the underground tunnels of airports and shit like that. I like how they even made a joke about it at one point where he has to crawl through that ductwork, and he even kind of like makes a very meta joke. He's like, "Here I am again, crawling around this fucking tin can."
Yeah, like, I just can't have a normal Christmas. No, I gotta do this again. And or like when he's running through the underground, he's like, "Oh, I really gotta quit smoking." He starts running again.
Yeah, let's see. I want to go to some comments real quick before I get too far ahead of myself. The Reverend says, an extremely excellent movie to definitely watch every Christmas. See, Tex, told you. Plus, in my opinion, the best version of Yippee-Ki-Yay motherfucker ever. Yeah, I kind of like it. The first two are really good. The third one, kind of. The fourth one was pretty good, except for well, I'll bitch about that when we do the fourth movie. But not quite the same. But let's see. Ron Jammin says, howdy, fellas. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Great sequel cast. Always likes how they incorporated Bonnie into the plot without repeating the first movie. That was very important, not just to make her the Mary Sue character, the damsel in distress. The Colonel is a terrific villain, but this installment, to be seen. Again, great bad guy. John Amos, such an amazing actor. He really was. I mean, I was really bummed when he died, especially to hear how the last couple of years of his life went. He was having really bad health problems. I think he was suffering from some form of dementia. His kids were not seeing eye to eye on his care. So much going on around that. But yeah, he was an amazing actor. Let's see. Yes, he did play the bad guy in Hard to Kill as well with Steven Seagal. William Sadler did. Yeah. I had totally forgotten that until I saw it on his Wikipedia page a minute ago. Let's see. He's somewhat underrated. Great to see Reginald return and help McClane. Just the facts with him. Dennis is great in his role. A very thrilling movie. Yeah, it would have been nice to have seen more Reginald Vell Johnson in this movie. I've got a little piece of trivia as to why he didn't play a bigger role. But he's back in L.A. What's he really going to do at Dulles? I get it.
It was a nice add-in. It really was.
Yeah. So many bad guys ends up chewing up the scenery. It kind of does, but the bad guys fall off at a good rate, kind of like they did in the first movie. It's like, yeah, they start with 150 people, but it's like one by one, McClane takes them out until it's just him and the two guys on the wing of the plane. But so I think it worked out pretty well. BJ says, I like Good Times. I still think that's one of the top 5 shows ever created. That's one of the top 5 shows that's ever been on TV. There was so much good about that. Let's see. Second Die Hard convo I've chimed in on the last few days. And considering the time of the year it is, Die Hard with a Santa? Yeah, exactly. Why not? Die Hard with Santa. Let's see. Bonnie Bedelia is hands down one of the most beautiful actresses ever. Last thing I saw her in was the Kiefer Sutherland had that TV show called Designated Survivor. I don't know if you ever got a chance to watch that or not.
I did not. No.
It ran for a season on, I want to say, NBC, and then it moved to Netflix for its second season, and then it just stopped. I actually thought it was very, very good. He plays the first lady's mother, who is a drunk, So she's
Okay.
kind of like part comedy, part whatever. But and then Stuart saying hi to Cora, who's popped into the chat for a little bit. What's going on, Cora? Glad you could be
Hello,
here.
Lady Cora.
But it's the plot. I liked it. I thought it was just fine. But let's talk about some of the things that the action things they don't quite get right. You've already mentioned the whole ejecting from the airplane thing. Look,
Yeah.
Again, a lot of me when I go to a movie like this, I'm just like, turn your brain off, stuff your face full of popcorn, and just watch the thing happen. I agree. That's one of the scenes that kind of made me roll my eyes a little bit. Even now, as I was watching it, a couple of days ago, I was rewatching it again for the purposes of the review, and I rolled my eyes a little bit. The other one that got me was this one.
Oh yes.
Look, I don't know what those grenades were set to, their fuses, but I swear to God, it took 15 minutes for those grenades to go off.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys realize this or not. Most grenades like that, they have about, I think at most it's like a 5 to 7 second fuse. I think mostly it's 5. And so I remember when I was watching this movie the other day, I was counting from when they threw that first grenade, and I'm like 1, 2, 3. I got to like 60, and I was like, "Come on now, really?" I mean, you've got to figure out a way to make the scene work to where it doesn't look so fucking
most
ridiculous.
definitely.
It's like, I know it's an action movie. I'm turning my brain off.
I know,
but at the same time, some things are so obviously silly that I'm like, "Come on, guys, you got to try."
I just want to date this to say how different times were, because I was just clicking through pictures. So at the movie premiere, 2 couples that I forgot were couples: Kiefer Sutherland and Julia Roberts, and Robert Downey Jr. and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah,
And that's like coked out like Robert Downey too. You can tell.
I was rolling through some of the pictures on IMDb to see if there was anything I can pull, and I was like, "These are all people at the premiere." I was like, "Good God!" Now, I don't follow celebrity dating all that often. I never really did. It's not what I care about. But I was just like, "When the hell did these 2 people date?"
Right. That's why I was kind of, oh shit, right? I said this at the beginning of the show too, was apparently bad guys can't hit shit when they shoot. Because they spray bullets everywhere, and a lot of not hitting John McClane.
Right. Well, they hit the SWAT guys pretty fucking easy,
right? But they can't hit John McClane.
But it's like John McClane for some. Well, maybe they had their guns loaded with the blanks when they were shooting at McClane.
Yeah, maybe they should put the. Oh yeah, there you go. We'll go with that. That actually helps a lot. We'll just say they had the wrong clips loaded up.
Did you see all the now famous actors that played the bad guys though?
Well, like I said, there was the John Leguizamo. I didn't look any further. Michael Cunningham. Who's that?
Let me go to it real quick, because there's actually several of them in there. Let's see. Don Harvey played Garber. He's the one that's kind of the right-hand man. You'd know if you saw him. Let's see. Who else am I thinking of? John Leguizamo was in there. Robert Patrick was one of the guys that
he was.
That gets the SWAT team. Let's see. Mark Boone Jr. from another one of the best TV shows ever made, Sons of Anarchy, where he played Bobby Munson. I swear to God, I looked really, really close. He's super young and has no beard, so he's really hard to spot. And you only really get one good look at him in the movie, at least the version that I watched on Hulu. But I was just like, holy shit, that's him, all right. Totally different. Totally different.
That's great.
Yeah, Tony Ganos, who played Meat Tuparello in the Porky's movies.
Oh, yeah. Really?
He's in it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's in it.
Holy shit.
He plays one of the terrorists. I as I was watching the movie, I saw him and I was like, oh yeah, that's who that is. I know now. And then let's see, Patrick O'Neill, who ended up being a sportscaster or something like that. I think he was the guy who gets his throat cut because he was the replacement guy who they didn't plan on being there.
Okay.
But a lot of other guys too. I mean, let's see. Cole Meany, who I'm a Trek guy, so I know that he played Miles O'Brien in Star Trek across several different things. Obviously, Fred Thompson, Dennis Franz. Let's see who am I thinking of? John Amos. We talked about him already. Yeah, there was plenty of people in here. There was somebody else in here. I could have swore. I'm trying to figure out who it was.
Yeah, I'm going to.
There was some other big name in here. I'm drawing a blank on who it was.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any names that I recognize.
There was one that I had read about that I was trying to remember that I must not have read it on Wikipedia. It must have been on something else. But yeah, there were plenty of people in here that ended up becoming big stars in their own right. It was only 2 years later in 91 or 92 that Patrick was in Terminator 2.
Yeah, 91, wasn't it?
Let me go look at his
91.
His filmography real quick.
Yeah, 91.
Yeah, he was in
So the
let's
next
see,
year.
Killer Instinct, Die Hard 2. So yeah, it was the next one. He was in Terminator. Then obviously he was that cameo in Wayne's World, which is awesome.
Yes.
Last Action Hero, awesome. The year after that, but yeah, so he went on to do a lot of really cool stuff as well. But yeah, there was one other person in there that was kind of like a small role, and I forget who the hell it was now. I'm drawing a blank on it, but yeah, I love that stuff. But yeah, those shots, the grenade sitting in there for like a solid 20 minutes while he's strapping himself into that
right, yeah,
that fucking injection scene. I'm like, come on, guys. It's like, I know it's an action movie, but let's be honest here. You're taking a piss. Let's see.
Taking a piss.
What's up, Joseph? Joseph Goulon, thanks for hanging out with us today. I appreciate it. Come back and check us out. I have no idea what we're doing next week, but next week being Christmas, I have to go over with the folks, the rest of the cast, and see what's going on for next week. We are going to be doing all the Die Hard movies, and I have it in my head that after that we're going to do all the Terminator movies, but I don't know quite yet. I know we're going to do the Die Hard movies, and I'll figure it out from there. But somewhere in here, we're going to have to do Nosferatu because that comes out in about a week. So I'm looking forward to doing that one as well.
Yeah. That looks really good from the trailers that I've seen.
It does look really, really good.
I'm really interested in seeing it. Yeah,
really interested in that movie. I'm hoping we can get that done on time. But let's get into some trivia now. And I don't know if I have a good picture of the general in here or not. I don't think I do. I thought I did, but I do not. But the general from Valverde, the fictitious Latin American country, was also used in the film Commando in 1985, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was Valverde.
The more you know.
The action cinematic universe, we'll call it.
There you go. That's the best way to put it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So you all know that the trickery that goes on when you're filming stuff in Hollywood. Not everything is filmed in the same spot. The scenes with Bruce Willis running through the tunnels under the airport were filmed at a water treatment facility near Los Angeles. The facility has miles of underground tunnels and was also used in Live Free or Die Hard in 2007, doubling as the Woodlawn Social Security Administration building. You want to know where they filmed the airport scenes at? They filmed some of them at...
Hold on. Because there's lots of snow. You think they did... let's say SeaTac. No, Seattle's rainy. I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay. They filmed some in... They were going to film them all in Denver, in Colorado.
Okay.
But there was an unusual light snowfall that year, so they couldn't film it because there wasn't enough snow.
Okay.
So they filmed some things in Denver, some things at a, I think a recently closed air base somewhere in California, some at LAX where they would shoot at night and piped in a bunch of fake snow.
Okay.
And then at another abandoned airfield that I forget where. So they actually filmed the airport scenes. They filmed them in like 5 different places.
Oh, wow.
That scene where the plane's landing and he's trying to climb out of the grate that's on the flight line.
Yeah.
That sequence was filmed at 4 different airports.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow.
So
wow.
The magic of filmmaking.
Did you say 4?
4 different airports. LAX,
I'm
military airfield, Denver, and I think one other place. I forget exactly where.
So IMDb says it was 6.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, it says climb. So in the tunnel, climbing up the ladder was in Granada Hills. Close up of Esperanza inside the plane cockpit was LA. Mojave Desert for the head-on view with the plane in the sky. Alpine, Michigan for the exterior.
Alpena, Michigan. That's the other one I forgot.
Okay. For the outdoor grading on the runway. San Francisco for the rear shot of the plane on approach with runway lights in the background. Sault Ste. Marie in Michigan, the plane just landed rushing towards scene. Lake Tahoe, California, plane rushing towards McCain on foreground. Denver, Colorado, plane rushes towards McLean as seen from behind the front landing gear. What a pain in the butt. But they made it look good still.
It looked great. Great editing. Great cinematography. Great editing.
Yep.
That worked out beautifully.
Wow. That was really good.
Let's see. When Fred Dalton Thompson's airport manager realizes the peril the planes are in, he says that we have only 58 minutes to avert disaster. Die Hard 2 was based on the novel 58 Minutes by Walter Wagner.
Nice. There it is. Tie it in.
It's basically it's kind of the same, not the same idea. It's the same. It kind of went down the same way as the first movie. Basically, this detective is waiting for his daughter at the airport, and some shit goes down, and he has 58 minutes to save to do whatever he had to do. I don't think it was terrorists taking over the airport. I forget exactly what. I kind of glanced at the book's plot on IMDb and I forget. But he had 58 minutes from when he found out to when that plane had to land in order to stop whatever crazy shit was going on.
Oh, okay.
So that was a nice little Easter egg to that movie. William Sadler, again, great bad guy. He trained for several months in karate and Tai Chi to prepare for the ending fight scene in this film.
Wow, really? Well, it looked good. The fight looked he looked very solid as a fighter.
Oh, he was. And furthermore, go to the introduction scene of his. It was actually Rennie Harlan's idea that Colonel Stewart, the film's main villain, be introduced naked doing martial arts exercises during the film's opening sequence. He would later say that it was an effective but unusual way to introduce a character.
Definitely unusual but memorable, right?
All I know is it's like before Captain America, that was America's ass.
Yeah, there you go.
He wasn't just a captain either. He was a colonel.
Mm.
So that's the some more about Fred Dalton Thompson. During filming, Fred Thompson approached Stephen E. D'Souza to criticize the amount of four-letter words in the initial version of the screenplay. Stephen assumed that Fred objected because of conservative leanings, but in fact, Fred thought the excessive language made the movie unintentionally funny and hard to take seriously. When reviewing the movie's footage, he agreed to remove some of the curse words from the script. Thompson's character is one of only two major male characters in the movie who do not drop the F-bomb.
Really? Wow.
I cannot remember who the other one is.
I'm kind of curious about who it is. Interesting. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it just to try to figure it out.
Well, you'd have to really pay attention.
I could. I mean, there's got to be some YouTube channel where it says, like, hey, this is the amount of F-bombs that were dropped in certain movies. Actually, I think there is. Well, I think we found a website a long time ago about that, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's like Blink 182 is that's how many times I think Al Pacino said fuck in Scarface or something like that.
182, that was it?
I think.
Maybe, I think that might have been the movie where we talked about it. We did Scarface a while back.
Now I'm kind of curious anyway, so... name. Okay, Blink 182 names. Oh, sorry, I'm.
No, I'm curious now. Find it.
I'm finding it.
There was a website that we found. I know we did.
Okay, explanations of 182. Okay, hold on a second. It says here. Oh, but apparently the book claims the number is meaningless. Aww. The explanations of 182 included a number of times Al Pacino's characters, Tony Montana, said fuck in Scarface. The number of ship on Hoppus's grandfather served in the military, his idea weight. Ultimately, this book claims that there's no meaning to the number. Oh. Hoppus says the group chose the number on the spot during a phone call with the record label. Well, that sucks.
Because I pulled it up on Wikipedia real quick. I don't know how accurate this is. It's Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. So it says The Irishman, that came out in 2019 on Netflix, has, let's see. I'm sorry, I lied. SwearNet the movie has 935 F-bombs in it. There's a movie called Fuck that has 857 F-bombs in it. And from that point on, The Wolf of Wall Street, Uncut Gems, The Outpost, Summer of Sam. I'm trying to think of some other movies that people might have heard of. Casino, good movie.
Casino's awesome.
Alpha Dog, Straight Outta Compton. Let's see. End of Watch. Let's see if let me go down to where 187 is so I can see exactly what they've got Scarface at. Oh wow, if it was 187, it's way down the list. It's really weird.
Oh wow, okay.
See, it says Scarface has. I just lost it. Where'd it go? Scarface had 170. It says.
Oh,
which still seems really low.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that does. Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Is that just the times if fuck was said in the movie or just by Tony Montana?
How many times the word is in the movie?
Okay.
So it's not just Tony Montana.
God, my kid's loud.
See. Don't be quiet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in some of these movies, I'm like, damn, really? That few F words?
I thought there was a lot more fucks.
I know, it's kind of mind boggling. Like,
Mhm.
I probably say fuck more times than that over the course of a day. But let's see. Moving on to some more trivia. Let's talk about money for just a minute. Costing $62 million. This was the most expensive film ever made up to that point, and it was surpassed the next year by Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
That doesn't shock me.
Doesn't shock me either.
Like how much?
One of the things I didn't have in the notes that I usually do is how much the budget for this movie actually was. Let's see. The budget for this movie was 60 to 70 million.
So that was pretty good then, yeah.
That's not for 1990. That's not terrible. I mean, it was probably a lot for 1990. I mean, for now, that's not terrible, but for 1990, it was probably a good amount of money. Let's see. John McTiernan had actually wanted to come back and direct this film as he did the first one, but could not because of his commitments to directing The Hunt for Red October in 1990, which would also feature actor Fred Thompson as well. Rennie Harlan was hired after Fox executives were impressed by the dailies of his film The Adventure of Ford Fairlane, which came out in 1990. Well, at least they liked the dailies.
Right? Yeah.
I still think Ford Fairlane is funny. Andrew Dice Clay is funny.
It had its moments.
Greatest comedy ever? No. Was it funny?
God,
Good
no.
to watch? It was there. It was
Yeah,
there.
again, it had its moments, right? So
it was there. Now let's there's a reason why Reginald VelJohnson wasn't in this movie a whole lot more. Family Matters, which began shooting in 1989, actually prevented Reginald VelJohnson from having a bigger role in this film.
it's kind of what I figured. But you said it best though, Frank. What could they have done with him? I think you nailed it. Maybe they could have used him for some more stuff over the phone. But I think for what the purpose of it was, for like the impact he had to progress the story on, it was perfect. A great run-in.
I mean, you could have had them flying together to do something. You could have changed the basic storyline. One of the things I like to do whenever possible is I like to go read like second and third drafts of the script, because a lot of people may not realize the shooting draft of the script is usually like draft 13, 14, 15 of the script. They don't just write a script, they look at it and say, okay, we're going to shoot this.
Yeah, of course.
There's always multiple drafts of a script. And so I'd be interested to see what the first couple of drafts looked like, the kind of shit they had John McClane doing. Was he going to be at Dulles? Was it going to be set at the same time of the year? Was it going to be back in LA? So they probably had an idea that they could have had a bigger role for Al as they first started writing the story. But once they realized that he was going to be unavailable due to his commitments to the TV show, they were kind of like, well, okay, we're going to go ahead and tinker with it a little bit more. So that way we don't have to have him be such a big part of it. But I don't know.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'll have to send it to you. There's apparently a leak of what would have been the basic movie of Kang Dynasty. Avengers Kang Dynasty got released. Somewhere, and there's about an hour-long video on YouTube. I'll have to send it to you about somebody breaking down what the movie was going to be, who was going to be in it, what was going to happen, all the way from the beginning of the movie all the way to the very end. And that shit was bonkers crazy. I listened to it. It's about an hour long. It's about an hour-long video. I listened to it twice the other day because of all the crazy shit. All the Avengers die essentially. You're left with like 4 or 5 of them. It's just insane.
That would be awesome.
It is wild. I'll find that video and send it to you so you can just listen to this guy describe step by step of what happened in that movie. Before obviously Jonathan Majors had the issues and they decided to go a different route, move away from Kang and do the Doomsday route. But I love going back. There's a website, I forget what it is. I was just talking to guys about it the other day, where you can go look at scripts from movies, and some of them are like our first and second part, runs of the script. Some of them are the final shooting scripts. But it's really cool to go back and read those scripts, and you see little differences that kind of get made on the fly when you're filming a movie.
Yeah.
It's really insane. I'll have to find that website and send it to you as well.
That's pretty cool. That'd be interesting to see the changes that were made or what the original ideas are going to be. Like I always get a kick out of finding out like who was going to be in like hearing like Harrison Ford or no, who was Indiana Jones first? Didn't they offer to somebody else first?
I think Tom Selleck was going to be. That's what it was. Point.
Tom Selleck, yeah. And it's like, and because we've seen Harrison Ford do it, you're just kind of like, I don't see it. But it's always interesting to hear the different, or like Will Smith is Neo. Thank goodness we dodged that bullet.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. So it's always interesting to hear the ideas, like who got offered it before this person got offered it. And you're just like, no, like you can't even see it fit because whoever did the movie so good, you're just like, no, because I can't see it any other way.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky and you fall into a cast. We were talking about Alan Rickman with the last movie, how he didn't even really want to do it. He was like, I don't know if I want to be the villain in an action movie. And then ends up being like, not only just what launched his career, but being one of his most iconic roles.
And I got to say this, I said it on the show last week when you guys did the review. He was awesome in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I thought he was
good at just about everything.
Yes,
I talked about you're a music guy. Have you seen CBGB?
I have not. And where is it? Is it on Tubi? I want to watch it.
I don't know where it's at off the top of my head. I watched it. I think this is how long it's been since I've seen it. I think I rented it from like a Redbox or something forever ago. But he plays Hilly Crystal, the guy who started CBGB, the club in New York.
I heard you talking about it. Yeah.
And dude, that I think is one of his best films. He's not the bad guy like he was in Die Hard. He wasn't like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He wasn't Snape. He was just playing like a regular guy in New York who was just going through the struggles and trying to figure out how to make his club relevant, whereas so clubs in New York were relevant at the time for various forms of music. Yeah. And it's a great movie. I think it's some of his best work. I mean, after he had done Snape, after he had done all the other stuff, he did this small, independent, low budget thing where he's just playing a guy.
That's awesome. That's
awesome. I'll look around and see if I can find it. It's got to be somewhere. If not, find it. It's got to be. Well, it's probably on Amazon behind a paywall. I would suggest spending $5 to watch it. It's a fantastic film.
I'm gonna look it up because that really and then of course the Ramones and the punk scene comes out of there, right? So
well that's why he started CBGB because he liked country bluegrass and blues.
Yes, yep.
Or country blues and bluegrass, CBGB. But he had trouble booking any of those acts. So he's just like, okay, I'm just going to book an act to get them in here. What's this no-name band, the Ramones? Okay, you guys come in, I'll give you $50 to play. And then the Ramones, Blondie, I think Sex Pistols went through there.
I would say Sex Pistols, probably the New York Dolls, Iggy Pop spent some time there.
Punk bands from the 70s and early 80s, that was the birth of the punk movement. And it kind of talks about how he... how it's just kind of like stumbling and falling into that whole thing. Fantastic movie, and of course, great music.
And another one that Alan Rickman was in, as we go off on an Alan Rickman, Dogma. He is so good in Dogma too. Oh, look at that! Like he looks like such an awesome bad guy. He just looks so like suave and debonair. Like he looks awesome.
When we were doing the review the other day for the first one, I called him deliciously evil.
I like that.
He is deliciously evil.
Well, both them, even William, what's his dick there? They're both deliciously evil. He is too.
I think William Sadler does it a bit differently. I don't think he's as deliciously evil, but he is, like I said, he is a force. He's a forceful evil.
And he looks like Alan Rickman, like he has that suave, like the debonair, like you said, deliciously evil. Whereas like you think he's more of a mind guy. I'm not saying Stewart wasn't in Die Hard 2, but you look at him and go, yeah, that guy could probably kick my ass and then beat me at a game of chess. Like he looks like
especially after you see him doing naked Tai Chi. And he's
anytime you do naked Tai Chi, you're gonna be a Billy Badass. Yeah.
I can do naked Tai Chi. I can't look like him doing naked Tai Chi.
Absolutely not.
I'll fight you on the wing of an airplane, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to look as cool as him.
Not even close as good. Yeah.
But, director Rennie Harlan, he actually met former President Ronald Reagan during filming this. They met at Ronald Reagan's office in Fox Plaza in Los Angeles, which is the same building where the first Die Hard was shot.
Oh.
You want to know something else? You want to know something else I read about this? I don't know why I didn't put it in my notes. When Reagan left office and he was going to put his offices in the Fox building, the Secret Service, because he was recent former president at the time, had to run a sweep through the building to make sure there wasn't any stuff that was run afoul. They were concerned because they found bullet casings all over the building. They were left over from the shooting the first movie.
The shooting of the movie. That's funny.
And they were like, "Why are there bullet casings here? What the hell's wrong with this place?" They did some research and ended up finding out they were just left over from filming the first movie.
That's funny. I like that. That's one of those cool stories you hear. You go, "Oh man, I didn't even think about that." That's fun. That's hilarious.
Funny story. When I was delivering pizza several years ago, I had gone to the local Rural King, which is kind of like this place where you can go to buy guns and stuff. And I had bought I think I bought 4 or 5 boxes of 9mm ammo, and just kind of like thrown them in the back of my car and forgot they were there. So I live near an Air Force base. and
Mhm.
I was going to take a delivery on base. And now because I was on and off base a lot, I was cool with just about all the security forces guys for the Air Force. But every time I go on base, I just have to go pull up to the gate, open up my door, my trunk, and everything. They have to go look around real quick. And the guy's just kind of doing his cursory look around. He kind of looks at me, looks back down. I'm like, and honestly, I totally forgot they were there. I was like, what? He goes, what are those? I was like, oh shit. I was like, dude, I swear to God, my gun is not in the car. he goes, they were in the bag and everything. It's like he just happened to see them through the bag.
Oh, like I like that's the reaction. Oh shit.
He was just like, dude, you're cool. Just don't bring it back here. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I delivered the pizza, stopped at my house on the way back to the store, just kind of like reading and threw them on the couch real quick. And then,
It's like, I better get rid of these things. Yeah, it's probably a good call on your part.
I was like, yeah, I'm not going to carry these around. You know what's funny is I had my son's pellet gun in the trunk once when I went through security.
Oof.
And he was just like, dude, leave that home. I was like, my bad.
He's like,
my bad.
What are you doing? Give your head a shake.
I actually still am in this Facebook page, even though I very rarely am on Facebook anymore, for pizza delivery drivers. And look who showed up to make sure that he had to get his digs in about this not being a Christmas movie. He said he had to wake a Walmart run and figured he would tune in for a while. He had service. Glad to see Dr. Nick holding it down. Superman trailer looks like a CW TV show. I disagree, but we're going to talk about this later on. He said, we'll see you all on Tuesday. P.S. Casey sucks. Yes, he does.
Oh, shit. I'm live. I didn't say, yeah, fuck you, Casey. I'm live on this show, and usually I text it, and I can say, fuck you, Casey.
He hasn't been in here to suck any clout yet, so I wonder if he's okay. He's probably in a Sonic Tot hangover.
Actually, he probably saw that I'm on here and he's crying. You know, why didn't he ask me to do it? He's gonna have a stroke Monday when we announce what we're doing on your show. So
no doubt
on my show.
Yeah, but that's lots of stuff. Anyway, let's see. There was some. I got a couple of these pictures just because I was hoping Tex would be on the look for because they're great.
Good one.
There was some minor controversy over the icicle kill. But we tried to do it somewhat tastefully, Rennie Harlan said when he was questioned about the visuals of that kill.
I thought it was a great kill.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing kill. Very well done, I thought.
That and the throat cut. That if I was watching this movie for the first time, that's where you're shocked. If you've never seen this movie before, that's where things really turn. But even having seen this movie about 12 dozen times over the course of the last almost 30 years, that scene still hits pretty hard. You're like, damn, the timing of it all, the way it was shot was just so good. But I pulled those two specific shots hoping that Tex was going to be at least watching for a minute. It's like good blood and gore.
And just the way he said it was, I wish you would have been there too. Then I wouldn't have to do this. It's like, oh, brutal.
Oh yeah.
Just brutal.
What's funny is I don't think that would have killed him. I think he missed the arteries. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Well, either way, this guy's not having a good day, and he has ruined his white jumpsuit.
Certainly. One last piece of trivia, and then we'll go into some general discussion. I don't know if you realize this or not, but the girl who played the stewardess aboard Holly's flight that gives her the champagne once she finds out that she knocked out two old Dick Boy's teeth. It's the same girl who played the dispatch supervisor in the first film.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, I didn't clue into that. I thought she was kind of cute, but I didn't clue into that. She was, wow. No idea.
I thought that was pretty cool. A little bit
that is cool.
Maybe she went from being a 911 dispatcher in LA to being a stewardess aboard.
And then she's like, shit, this is happening to me again in another Christmas. Oh my God, look at this.
But yeah, a fantastic movie. Like Die Hard 2, it's an action classic. I mean,
I agree.
The franchise is really good. I don't know if you'll be around for any of the other ones. Hopefully we can schedule it to where you will be. But I mean, in case you're not, kind of grade we've had 5 Die Hard movies now, from the first one in 1988 to the most recent one that came out in 2011 or something like that. It's been a little bit. Rank these movies for me. Which ones did you like and which ones did you think were kind of lacking?
God, you want to what? Okay, I've the first 3 are fresh in my brain. Like, they're not fresh, but honestly, the next ones I draw a blank on. 4 and I know the last one was horrible. That was one with LaBeouf, right? Yeah, that was awful.
No, it had Michael Jai Courtney, the guy who was in the really bad Terminator movie, the last one.
That's what. Okay, yes, I know there was something. That's how unmemorable it was. I remember it being god awful, and I kind of felt although Tex disagrees, that once you took the Christmas out of it, it was kind of like, I realize you can't do Christmas all the time. I understand that totally. Like that did get over, but Die Hard with Vengeance was awesome. I really enjoyed it too. So I would think I'd keep the order almost the way the movies run: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5.
Yeah, 5. Right. I debated whether we were even gonna like review that or not because it's just not very well liked. It's not. It's missing some of the. There's a certain magic that these films kind of somehow find.
Mm-hmm.
That movie kind of misses the magic.
Everything.
It's not really. It doesn't hit the same way. Maybe now, in retrospect, maybe that was where Bruce Willis's health was starting to show signs of falling off because he's got aphasia, and I'm very sorry about that because Bruce Willis has forever been one of my favorite actors.
And I don't know if BJ's listening. That was a very off color joke. I don't apologize, and I didn't mean it to come off the way it did. And after I read, I'm like, oh, like I don't apologize for stuff. If you ever watch one of my shows, like I don't apologize for shit. I'm like, yeah, that was a little offside. I mean, that was offside. So I will admit that.
If she can handle us talking the shit that we do, especially Tex.
Well, she said something. She's like, yeah, like I would. And after I said, I'm like, oh, and then I find out who she is. I'm like, oh, now I feel like a real chode. Like so. Well, yeah, I wonder if you're right. I'm trying to find what year did that last one come out? Because he was still. What year did 2011? Did you say?
Let's see. Good Day to Die Hard came out in 2013.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
so
maybe that was.
Yeah. Just in 90, Die Hard with a Vengeance in 95, Live Free or Die Hard in 2007, and A Good Day to Die Hard in 2013.
Okay, so yeah, I think the order that they run is the way, one. I think that is like, and the last 2 I don't really care about. Last 3, whatever it is, but those first 3 like are just awesome. And how they brought Hans's brother in for the 3rd one, I thought it was very well done. And anything with Samuel L. Jackson, I'm gonna watch it.
Samuel L. Jackson does bring a certain something to the screen, doesn't he?
Yes, every time he's on the screen, like it's like even in Saga, like him being Mace Windu, you're like, okay, like you want to know why he shouldn't work for this, but because he's Samuel fucking Jackson, motherfucking Jackson, it works.
I know you've heard him read Go the Fuck to Sleep.
Oh, of course I have. Now, you've probably seen it. And one of my favorite Chappelle bit is Sam Jackson beer.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
So
why are you yelling? I'm not yelling. It's just the way I talk.
yeah. You might even fuck fat bitches. You might even fight an N-word. Drink, bitch, drink.
I love Dave Chappelle. He lives like 20 minutes from me.
Really?
That town, Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Yeah.
I actually drove by his. I actually drove by his club the other day.
Oh, nice! I did not know that.
He built a comedy club, which I don't think is yet open, like a really small one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He built it right there in Yellow Springs. I like going to Yellow Springs because I always tell people here in Ohio, the town I grew up in California.
Mm-hmm.
I try to tell them what my hometown was like. I always tell them my hometown was Yellow Springs. It's got like all the leftover hippies, super liberal, progressive, those people. Except it's the size of Dayton, which is big, and it's on the beach instead of in the woods, which is what Yellow Springs is. It's in a very wooded area.
Oh, okay.
So whenever I tell them that, they're like, "Oh, that's what your hometown's like." So that's why I go to Yellow Springs every now and again during the summer, and there's a couple of restaurants, a couple of ice cream places. I'll just sit there, eat some food. I'll just watch the hippies and weirdos walk by. So whenever I'm homesick, I go do that, and it kind of cures it for me because I'm just like, "Oh, here's the weirdos. Here's the weirdos."
People watching to the extreme.
Yeah. There's all kinds of head shops. There's a couple of bars up there I used to hang out at when I was young, stuff like that.
Sweet.
But Stewart gave us his. He said, number 1, Die Hard. Number 2, Die Hard with Vengeance. Number 3, Die Hard 2. The rest you can please yourself. I'm not going to lie. Die Hard 1, very good. In a tie for me is Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 4. I love Die Hard 4. I will get to why once we get around to reviewing that movie. I thought that movie was fantastic.
I did not see that coming.
Timothy Olyphant is a great fucking bad guy. If there's anybody that ranks up there with Hans Gruber from the first film, I think it might be him.
Ooh,
it might be him. I don't know the last time you saw the movie, but he has that. He's not quite the delicious bad guy, but he's got a little bit of that flavor to him. He's not the same as Hans, but he's got a little bit of flavor to him, and I like him. I like him a lot. I love Timothy Olyphant. Period. I think he's a great actor.
I'm actually
really good in.
I'm writing that down. Delicious bad guy. I really like. I gotta steal that. My pen died.
Evil. Deliciously evil.
Deliciously. Oh crap! That pen sucks too. This is ridiculous.
Here, we're gonna.
Yes.
I
like that.
Evil.
Deliciously evil. I like that. Yes, deliciously evil. I like that.
Deliciously evil. I'm gonna put that
see,
on a t-shirt.
See, do you want to what? There'd be a good show when you have like, if maybe we could, because we had an idea for a show. We were just spitballing one because I don't know if I was late or something. I came in from like snow removal or something, and Ryan was there and Alex, and I showed up, and then Brody happened to be there, so we had us three, me, Rob, the Reverend, and Alex, and then we invited Casey and Brody onto the show. And maybe Tex was on the show, but we had an idea about having like the 7 balds because we're all bald. And it was like the 7 angry balds or something. But that'd be a great discussion for a show. Like
that's a great podcast. The all bald podcast.
Yeah, like deliciously evil. Like that almost like the name of a podcast. And you can talk about like anything. We'll talk. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
We'll work it out. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the 5th one not great. I look. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and 4 kind of right next to each other, then 3, and then 5. Which honestly, I think I've seen the 5th one like twice. It's just it was not impressive. Again, I think this may have been the time where maybe he was starting to feel some of the effects of the aphasia. I think in my head, that's where I'm putting the timeline at. So maybe hard. I heard that as that stuff was starting to get to him, that he was becoming increasingly difficult to work with, but because he hadn't gone public with his condition yet, that a lot of people just kind of thought he was being a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally went public about his health things. They were like, "Oh, that kind of explains why he was an asshole to work with in this movie."
That explains a lot.
First dealing with it, so okay. Because I think Kevin Smith even said that actually Kevin Smith has a small role in the 4th movie, the Live Free or Die Hard, and I guess the way Kevin Smith told it is that like they were in between shoots and he was talking to Bruce Willis and said, "Hey, I'd like to do a movie with you sometime if you're interested." And he goes, "Yeah, like work something out, whatever." So he ended up making that movie Cop Out.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was just a terrible experience for Kevin Smith. He said that he was just really kind of a pain in the ass to work with. Bruce Willis was, and then he didn't. Then he realized after Bruce Willis went public, he's like, that was I think a year after he had gotten diagnosed. So he felt bad because he was like, all the time I just thought this guy was being a dick. But in reality, he had just got diagnosed with this thing right about that time. He's like, so now I feel bad. Now I take back everything I said over the years about him being difficult to work with. Now I know that he may have just been dealing with this thing. So, whatever,
yeah.
Like Bruce Willis. But yeah, I mean, so I haven't seen a lot of Bruce Willis's newer stuff. I know that he was on a thing of just making as many movies as he could, big budget, small budget, whatever, while he could still do them. And then he finally got to the point where it's just like, I can't be on set anymore. Speak. I can't comprehend the stuff. I got to call it a day. And he was doing that just because he wanted to have some money rolling in just to make sure that his family was going to be taken care of. So it's tough. It's tough.
Well, Sin City was awesome. The second one was me, but second one was 2014. So yeah, maybe he was like, yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking about. And then after that, he did Death Wish. That's right. Remember they did that.
That wasn't a bad movie.
I never saw it. I didn't even give it a chance. Not that I didn't want to, but I didn't mind Glass. Interesting.
Yeah, but I want to say he did Glass after he had gotten diagnosed with the thing, but he hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, because it was 2019.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm old enough to remember Moonlighting, watching that shit on TV with my mom. I got really happy today because I stumbled across it on I think it was Hulu. They actually have the series on Hulu, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to start watching Moonlighting now just to get my old man fix of classic television.
See, we were talking about like after we watched because the wife watched Die Hard 2 with me last night, and we were like, oh, he's been in some great movies. And the Last Boy Scout got brought up. I liked the Whole Nine Yards.
Good movie. Good movie.
Great movie. And then Death Becomes Her. Death Becomes Her is a great movie that not enough people talk about. Loved that movie. I hate going back to watch stuff because sometimes I don't want to ruin it because I remember enjoying the movie. Like, and I probably saw it when I was 13, 14 and I liked it. I really don't want to, that's 40 years ago, 30 years ago now. So I really don't want to go back and watch it and not like it, if that makes sense.
There are some movies that I'll avoid watching because it's like upon further viewings, I'm just kind of like, oh, wait a minute, this movie wasn't that great. So I'm like, I'm just going to not watch it so that I can still say I enjoyed the movie to a point.
Mm-hmm. that was the Dream Warrior or Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I hadn't seen it forever. We watched it with a buddy, and I was like, oh, was not, because he wasn't a big horror movie guy. And I'm like, oh, why did we pick this? This is not good. We picked that and The People Under the Stairs. The People Under the Stairs was still really good. I still really enjoyed that. But yeah, I remember seeing, and the one I was told not to watch, I think Alex actually told my partner in crime, they said, do not watch Never Ending Story.
Oh, I still love that movie.
Oh, he said it didn't hold up.
It's definitely dated, but it was coming out at a time where there was a lot of fantasy content. You had like Never Ending Story, you had Dark Crystal, you had all kinds of shit like in a really deep fantasy world. All kinds
okay.
From that kind of stuff. So it may have gotten kind of lost in the fray a little bit. But Never Ending Story is still a classic. I mean, come on, the scene with the horse in the quicksand.
That ruined my childhood right there.
Look, I don't cry at movies. There's only been a few times where I've been close. That's one of them.
And then just because I'm looking through Bruce Willis's movies now, The Fifth Element, there's a great movie. Great. I get that comes on TV and it's like, well, guess I'm gonna lose a couple hours of my life because I gotta watch this.
They really badly wanted to make a sequel to that, and they couldn't crack the script, so it never got done.
I'm kind of glad they didn't. I'm kind of glad it got left where because it was such an original idea for a movie. I thought.
Yeah, some movies need to be left alone. You don't have to sequelize everything.
Mm-hmm.
Point in fact, Joker.
I haven't seen it yet, and I haven't watched it yet because I have not heard one good thing.
First Joker is a phenomenal movie.
Yes, it is.
I tell people it's not a good comic book movie. It's a great character study.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't start the movie as a bad guy. He starts the movie as a guy on the edge.
Yep.
And the things happen in his world that push him to one side or the other.
Yep.
And, it ends up happening the way it happens. Second movie, God, was awful. Look, I'm a Lady Gaga fan. I like some of her music, some of her songs. But it's like, as an actor, she's really good. I've liked most of what she's done in American Horror Story. But it's like this movie, it's like, oh, just right when you start to get a little bit of story, a little bit of good dialogue going, they come up with some musical number that doesn't really make a difference to the movie. It interrupts the flow of the movie. The music mostly interrupts the flow of the film.
Okay, that makes sense.
I really appreciate that they were trying to do something different, making a musical. I was kind of like, meh, okay, whatever. I mean, I'll watch it and see how it works.
Yeah,
ballsy move to give it a different dimension, but it just didn't work. Didn't work at all. I mean, the performances were pretty good. The story I thought was pretty solid, but the music just really takes a lot out of it. But you don't have to sequelize everything. It doesn't. Some movies just need to stand on their own. I called when I first reviewed Joker, the first one that came out 100 years ago or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I called. You ever see Walking Tall Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
Yes. Yeah.
I called Joker Falling Down with Face Paint.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same character. It's this guy he's just a middling guy who's just been beaten up by the world, and he has that moment that pushes him over to one side.
And he just had enough.
With Joker, it's just a little bit of a slower burn than Joker. It happens to him over the course of the movie. Whereas you have that scene in the beginning of the movie of Falling Down where he has that moment where he snaps.
Yeah.
But
and you nailed it. Like, that first Joker was amazing.
My only problem with that movie is the scene with Bruce Wayne at the gate of Wayne Manor. I didn't think it made sense. I didn't need it.
Yeah, no, because where is it going to go, right?
Because it's like we know who the Joker is, so we know he's a Batman bad guy.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're giving me his origin story. I don't have to have Bruce Wayne there because Bruce Wayne is not a part of his origin Bruce in the Tim Burton movies, maybe he is, but you don't have to have him there. So having that scene where he's like at the gate of Wayne Manor and he's talking to like 10-year-old Bruce, I'm like, all it was to me was the directors and the filmmaker saying, "Hey, remember this guy?
Yes.
Remember he's part of Batman. Don't forget." It's like, you know already. Just stick with his story, with his arc, and let's go with that instead of forcing this narrative thread in there that we all know and don't really need. I mean, it was enough at the end of that movie when shit is starting to pop off and you see Bruce and his parents going to the alley and you see a couple of people going behind him. We all know what happens.
We all know what happens. Yeah.
That conversation between him and Bruce, because, he, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen the movie that's 5 years old at this point, his mom lied to him and said that Thomas Wayne was he's Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son.
Yes.
Like, so it's like, it's just not necessary. I didn't need that. That scene was not important.
Not at all.
But whatever. I mean, he won an Oscar for it, well deserved. Second movie, not good at all. You don't have to sequelize everything.
No.
Not sequelizing movies is fine.
Well, I'm just busting Casey's balls right now. Like, wow. Oh, who's Desk Candy? Who's Desk Candy? To stay away from Uncle Frank. Oh, he's playing Home Alone. Wasn't talking about you. He's playing Home Alone.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm gonna have to go on there and break his balls here in a minute.
I'm doing that right now. So I will refocus. And another Bruce Willis part that I liked him in was when he was the girl's dad in Friends.
Yeah.
He was only in it for 3 episodes. I thought it was more. It says only 3 episodes. I thought it was a couple more than that.
Yeah. That was the point in his career where he could do stuff for fun.
He looked weird with hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
let me go back to his filmography real quick.
Hearts War was good. I enjoyed Bandit. It was a weird ending, Bandits.
That's a fantastic movie. He is in The Expendables. He was Mr. Church.
Unbreakable.
And Red's a good movie too.
Red, I liked Red. Yep. The Kid was pretty good. Sixth Sense, of course. And I know it's cheesy as fuck, and I get it's such a dumb story. I enjoyed Armageddon. I don't care what anybody says.
You know what?
It's
like I said, it's one of those movies you just turn your brain off and watch.
Yep.
It's fun.
Yep. The Jackal.
Oh, that's a great movie.
That's a great movie. Mercury Rising.
That scene with him and Jack Black testing the gun.
Yeah.
That's a classic scene in cinema. I love that shit.
12 Monkeys. I forgot that he was in Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah, he played the guy, the hitman.
Yeah.
Demi Moore. Demi Moore does his wife.
Is the wife. Yeah, I forgot. Pulp Fiction, of course. Color and Night. Pulp Fiction, yeah. He was also in Pulp Fiction.
He did do Blind Date, which was kind of a rom-com with Kim Basinger in 87, right before he did Die Hard. Then he did Look Who's Talking, then Die Hard 2. Let's see. Hudson Hawk, another really fun, kind of stupid, almost adventure movie. The Last Boy Scout's a great action movie.
Yes, it is.
Let's see. Yes, I watched Striking Distance not too long ago.
Oh,
that movie is still very good. I mean, it's a 90s kind of simple action film. I thought it was very, very good. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
No, I don't think I have. No.
He plays it's a great like crime thriller thing. He plays a detective in Pittsburgh, and in the beginning of the movie, there's a serial killer that's been on the loose, and he's he's a detective working on it. And I won't go too much into it. I don't want to spoil too much because I want you to experience the movie. But shit pops off, so people die, and then after a certain amount of time passes early in the movie, he ends up a river cop on the Allegheny River, or whatever river flows through Pittsburgh. It's the Ohio, Allegheny, and some other river. I forget which one. Three Rivers, for those of you who remember Three River Stadium, where the Pittsburgh teams used to play.
Yeah.
But and somehow this killer ends up coming back, and it is dropping bodies where he's going to find them along the river to kind of tease him. And there's this whole like mystery as to who it is, and it's got a couple big plot twist at the end that kind of turns things on its ear. I forget where did I watch? I want to say it may have been on Tubi. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. But it's a good Bruce Willis action movie. So if you are so inclined one day, you should check it out. It's got Sarah Jessica Parker. It's got who was the guy that played the dad on Frasier? He always plays a cop and shit.
Oh, I can see him. I can't think of his name.
It's a fantastic movie. Let me pull it up real quick. I was just looking at it. Where the hell is it at? Striking Distance. Let's see. Tom Sizemore's in it. Dennis Farina is who I'm thinking of. Rowdy Harrington. Let's see. God, who plays the dad? I forget. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I highly suggest watching it if you get a chance. It's very, very good.
Striking Distance. Yeah, no, I have not seen it. No.
It's a fantastic movie. I think it's solid. I watched it again. I was like, God damn, I still love this movie. It's still awesome. And it was early 90s. Bruce Willis kind of in his John McClane phase. But yeah, and it's a great like whodunit mystery kind of thing. And there's some plot twists that happen at the end that really fuck with your head.
Nice
movie. But yeah, I mean, dude, Bruce Willis, guy's a classic. I mean, hopefully he is living a comfortable life now. I know that he's still very. I know that Demi Moore is still in his life a lot and is still around him. I know his daughters and his new wife are constantly around taking care of him, which is great. I'm very happy to see. Every time Demi Moore does like an interview, somebody asks her about Bruce Willis, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's doing great. I just talked to him yesterday." And
excellent,
whatever. So he's surrounded by people who love him, which is important. It's great. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed. It was maybe 6 or 8 months ago. There was his daughter, I think, had put a picture up on a video on Instagram of them singing like "Happy Birthday" to him, give him a cake or some shit like that.
I saw that. Yep.
And that was always really cool. Let's see. Stewart says "Nobody's Fool." I think it's called, the one with Paul Newman where he plays a Vietnam vet, is good. I do not know. I don't know if I've seen "Nobody's Fool." Let me see if I can find that filmography.
I have not.
No, almost. What year was that? "Nobody's Fool." It sounds "Nobody's Fool," 1994. He played Carl Roebuck. 1994 American comedy drama film written and directed by Robert Benton, based on a novel by the same name. Stars Paul Newman, Jessica Tandy, Melanie Griffin, Dylan Walsh. So there's a lot of people in it. Let's see.
Fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it.
Joseph Sommer, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Philip Bosco, and Bruce Willis.
Wow.
I've never seen it.
Never even heard of it.
I'll have to try that out. I'm gonna have to look for that one. Just see where that one is. But yeah, it's Bruce Willis made good movies. My dad always said that every actor makes a stinker. He was a big John Wayne fan, but he was just like, yeah, there's 2 John Wayne movies I can't stand. I just don't watch them. They're just bad. And I don't know that he's ever really made a stinker. I mean, there's some movies I've liked more than others. I mean, the Look Who's Talking movies are fun, but I mean, when I'm picking my 5 favorite Bruce Willis movies, those probably aren't on the list. Heart's War, I think, is underrated. I think that's a fantastic movie with a killer ending.
Tears of the Sun. That's awesome.
I've got that on DVD, actually. It's a fantastic movie. That's a great movie. But Cole Hauser, by the way, plays one of his parts in that movie. Cole Hauser himself, kind of a badass. I'm waiting for the last half of this last season of Yellowstone to drop on Peacock so I can catch up on that.
Oh, I will say this. No, I'll just say they wrap it up very nicely.
I've heard. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. I keep getting like articles that pop up in my feed. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to read it. I know what happens because the shit with him leaving, with Costner leaving the show became so public. But how it plays out, I want to watch.
They did an excellent job. I thought they did a great job. Have you started Landman yet?
I have. I'm all caught up on Landman.
I love it.
Oh, that show was good.
And what's her face? Whipped cream girl. I can't think of her. That's what we always call her. His wife, she aged like a fine wine.
Allie Larder?
Oh,
God, she looks good.
She looks amazing.
I don't know what Allie Larder is doing to age so wonderfully, but I want her to keep doing it.
Like I said, a fine wine. She looks great.
Dude, I watched her like, what was it? She was in that Kevin Smith movie, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. She was one of the girls. You see from like Heroes and things like that. But yeah, she looks fantastic.
Varsity Blues, baby.
Always
Blues.
Allie Larder is still just gorgeous. But there's plenty of stuff going on. There's so much TV I have to catch up on now. I still haven't watched Shogun, which everybody tells me is fantastic. I still haven't watched Penguin, which everybody told me was fantastic.
Yeah, I heard my buddy that I game with. He said it was really good. I've actually moved away from television a lot. Any of my free time when I have it, I'm a gamer. I like to play video games, so that's my relaxing meal.
I've been trying to game a little bit more. I bought a new computer because my shitty Walmart one was giving me so many problems. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 years old. They're not supposed to last that long anyway.
Yeah.
So I like a cheap gaming computer off Amazon just because I needed it to do the stuff I needed to do. So I've been on Steam trying to play a few games. I played Command and Conquer. I don't know if you ever played that back in the day.
Yeah, I play. Yep, I did. Yep.
Yeah, I downloaded the entire Command and Conquer catalog from Steam.
Excellent.
So I've got all of them. So I've been playing the shit out of some Yuri's Revenge over the course of the last couple months.
Yeah.
God, I love that game back in the day.
Star Commander.
I used to have the pre 9/11 edition.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
I had that. For those of you who don't know, that game got released in March of 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously in September of 2001, shit popped off in New York. But the reason why the pre 9/11 edition was so popular and so valuable was because in the campaign, there's two missions. There's one Soviet mission, one Allied mission. The Soviet mission, you had to destroy an Allied base that was at the base of the World Trade Center. And if you went in there too hardcore, you'd end up blowing up the Trade Center and destroying the buildings. So they did not know what would happen several months later. Mm-hmm. And there was another mission where I think it was an Allied mission where you had to defend the Pentagon against Soviet forces invading.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. There were a bunch of stuff that
after 9/11, and mind you, this game had been out since the spring of that year. So we're looking at September of 11th of 2001. So for months, one of the more popular games on PC had been out for 6 months. And so they were like, holy shit, we can't do anything about it. There's a million copies of these games out there, and we don't really want that. We're not trying to promote that. So they changed some of the box art, because in the box art, they had like one of the Kirov airships flying over New York, and you had like the Statue of Liberty in the foreground and the World Trade Centers kind of in the background. They had changed the box art and just kind of removed the trade centers and just kind of like showed a generic city scene. And I think they reprogrammed the games from that point on to just being like regular buildings that you had to defend and attack or whatever. So he didn't have the iconography. But if you could find copies, like especially like in-box copies of the pre 9/11 game, they were selling for like $3 or $4 on like eBay.
Really? Wow.
They were ridiculous. And I had one forever, and I have no idea what the fuck I did with it. I mean, you can find them for like a couple $100, like just like the disc in like a plastic case on like eBay. But if you have like the pre 9/11 packaging and everything and all the booklets and everything, they're selling for a couple $grand on eBay. Wild.
That's crazy. Yeah, interesting.
Stewart says he's been watching Black Doves on Netflix with Keira Knightley and Ben Whishaw. A great series. It's a spy espionage thriller. I love spy stuff. I love political thrillers. That's always been my favorite genre of movie. That's one of the reasons I think my favorite MCU movie has always been Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I love it.
That's always been my favorite MCU movie. It's kind of what it is. It's a political thriller more than anything else. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. Nosferatu coming up. We're gonna be doing the rest of these, the rest of the Die Hard movies. So yeah, I don't know what next week is gonna look like on this channel. I have to talk to, because Christmas falls right in the middle of the week. I don't want to make these guys show up on Tuesday and Wednesday surrounding Christmas. So we're gonna see. We'll bare minimum, maybe me and Jeremy will get on here and play some Fortnite or something. I mean, just to come on here and hang out with you guys. Maybe I'll do like a solo stream one of those nights and just kind of like talk some random shit. Maybe I'll do a random hangout, see if anybody wants to join and just bullshit for a while after the holidays, so we can all decompress from obviously what is the worst holiday ever. God, if I could erase Christmas from the calendar, I would do it so fast. That's so annoying.
I don't know if I'd erase it right now. Like, I was always a Christmas guy, but my son's 20 now, so it's not like there's any magic. Maybe one day if there's grandbabies, sure. But it's Christmas is what it is now. So
all of my kids are to the point where money's the gift they want. So I'm just like, great, no shopping for me. It's like,
yeah, that's true, I guess, right? So
my youngest biological kid is going to be 18 in August. So all my kids will be legally, if in no other way, grown. But yeah, and my stepdaughter is, she's going to be 15 this summer.
Well, there you go, right?
Or 16 this summer. She turned 16 this summer. So even she's already to the point where it's just like, here's $100. Happy whatever day.
Yeah,
happy Christmas, birthday, whatever. Here's $100. Have fun, and she's happy with that.
There you
go. But yeah, even when I was a kid, I wasn't a big fan of Christmas. I was just like, eh.
Always loved it.
Even my nephews, my younger nephews and cousins and stuff like that. It's like, even most of the time, I just give them money. They're happy. I'm like, okay, here. It keeps me from having to go shop and find something
Yeah, I
specific.
guess, right? Yeah, I
Even
guess.
BJ's like money's the way I give. Exactly. It's so much easier these days.
Yeah. Well, actually, see what we've done is just to make sure, like, so my son, being 20 still, he's really got back into drumming, like big time. So it's nice to be able, like, our big music store in Canada is called Long and McQuaid. So we went and got him a gift certificate for Long and McQuaid. So like
That
here,
stuff makes sense.
yeah, you there or buy him stuff for like, well, make sure that he doesn't just go buy like marijuana and munchies with it. So it's like here's an Amazon card. Go buy some shit if you want to buy it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, buy the marijuana and snacks on your own dime.
Yeah. I'm not here to get you high on my supply. God damn it.
Yeah. I got to admit, seeing all those bats hanging in the background of your shot kind of makes me want to play again.
Actually, I have an indoor tournament in January. We're actually heading to the batting cage here on Saturday to go kind of knock the dust off. So can you see my American bat though? The one right here is like, it's got an American flag on it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I was I've won a lot of, the one,
okay.
right. Yeah. And as you can see, I'm a Louisville whore. So, and the one that sits a little higher, the white one, this one here is not even out of the wrapper yet.
Nice.
I won that. All of my bats have been won through baseball draws. That's $350 a piece for the bat, but I only paid $30 to enter the draw. So, well, yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to start playing again lately, but I'm like, between doing this, between work, all the stuff I do with my kids, I'm like, I just don't have time.
Well, I kind of sat and thought about like my summer plan. So I'm also in a band. And I thought, so I play in two different base softball leagues, one in town here and then one in the bigger city, about a half an hour down the road. And then I got rehearsal, then I got my show. And I'm like, my weeks are already done for the summer. Like the weeks. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the only days I have open now. And now my wife has a normal job where she's off on the weekends. So my summer's already a write-off. And we're in December. But I'm okay with that.
Let's see. Frank, I have a DM on your Twitter. You can DM on Twitter. Anyway, I'll leave my address in the comments. I tell you what, here's what you do. Did I type it in right? Yes, I did. There's my email. I very rarely use my email for anything. I mean, I look at it every now and again for shit. Like if my work sends me something I need to look at. But there's my email. Just email me. We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
I'm terrible for that too. Not checking my email. So awful for it.
I haven't used email for much of anything in a long time. And if I ever use it for work, I have a specific work email that I use. So it's not like they send me a lot of stuff that's to my personal email. So, yeah. I mean, whatever. But yeah, there's my email.
I still have my email from when I was a teenager. And I'll put it to you this way. The last three numbers I used, because I used my nickname plus 187, was because I was a fan of that Sam Jackson movie. That came out.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah. What year did Samuel?
That was early 2000s, I think.
Jackson. I'm curious. 187. Of course, it's not just going to pop up, right? It's just got to be. Anyways, go ahead. I'm babbling now.
187. Bill? That's not it.
No,
why is that not coming up?
I know it's not popping. Maybe because it's bad, and who knows? Like what internet?
I can't type for anything.
It is okay. 91st.
Samuel L. Jackson. Let's see. Filmography.
Oh, no, 187 was earlier than that.
7. I want to say it was early 2000s. I could be way wrong.
I thought it came out in because I'm up to like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and that's
Union 1408.
That was a good movie.
Okay, I'm missing it.
It's not on here.
There's
Deep Blue Sea in 99.
Unless they changed the name of it for some reason.
It's 1997. So that's how long I've had it, because they changed the words.
I thought it was the number. Okay.
So did I.
97 is when it came out.
Yeah. So that's how long I've had my email for. I'm 44 now. So I always say when I give it to people, don't laugh. I've had this email since I was a teenager. So
my first email, no shit, was on CompuServe or some shit like that. That's how old I am. So
mine's at least on Hotmail. So,
but yeah. But we're going to go ahead and start to wrap things up there. Good conversation. Dr. Nick, thank you so much for coming hang out with us tonight. Shout something out, man. What do you guys got going on in the next show?
So Monday, we're going to be back on the air, Alex and the Garbage Man. If you want to come hang out, we're actually going to have the Honorable Frank with us. I always send stuff to Alex. He's the brains of our show. I'm just the jabberbox. He's the brains. And I sent him what's called the trilogy meter. So we're going to go through these trilogies to see if we agree with the rating that this just a picture gave to the movies, and maybe discuss why we think the movie should be higher, should be lower. Alex does a lot of work to make stupid people videos that I send him and make it look palpable. And it's just two Canadian guys sitting around bullshitting. And yeah, we'd love you guys to come hang out with us on a Monday night.
Yeah, I do not yet know what I am doing here next week. Like I said, I'll talk to the crew and see what they want to do. I want to try to at least get one more review in next week, but again, it's Christmas, and then the week after that's going to be New Year's. I will be doing something, a hangout for New Year's Eve. I have New Year's Day and New Year's Eve off, so New Year's Eve and New Year's Day off. So I'm gonna go late night New Year's Eve. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna drink a little bit of beer, maybe some champagne. We're gonna sing Old Lang Syne. We're gonna have some fun. So people will come and go as they please. It's just gonna be a hangout. It's gonna be general fun. We'll talk about some new stuff. I was talking to Alex Payne the other day from the Derailed days. He said he's going to pop over and hang out for a bit. Hopefully I can get Ray Rollins on there. It's been a while since I've heard him jump on a stream and say, "What's popping, everybody?" Been a while since I got a chance to hear that voice. But yeah, I'm just going to do a hangout thing. And then next week, like I said, if nothing else, maybe me and Jeremy will get on here and we'll grind away some Fortnite. But yeah, there is some stuff coming up. I think probably I might take the first week of January off again, maybe 2. That's what we did last year, just to kind of give everybody a chance to decompress. It's been a busy winter. Jeremy had everything going on at the haunt. He works at the Haunted Cave all fall. And then immediately after that, while he was doing that, he was planning a wedding. Then he got married, and now he's trying to settle into married life. So a little bit of time for everybody to decompress and kind of chill, I think, is probably a good way to start the year. And then we'll sometime second week of January, we'll hit the ground running with some fresh shit. There are some things I want to do different next year, some different kinds of videos I want to make. May get into some more newsy stuff next year. I've been knocking around some way of doing something Derailed like. Maybe not reinventing Derail, but just kind of doing a thing where me and some people get together and talk about the news stories of the day. That's one of the reasons I reached out to Alex. I'd like to have Alex Payne in there, and maybe of course Dr. Nick or Alex, everybody from his show, just to get them in there to make fun of all the crazy shit that happens in the world, whether it be drones or crazy election shit or whatever drones. Craziness is happening in the world. More drones. But yeah, so next year is going to bring some stuff. It's going to be cool. I've actually got some scripts written out for some pre-done videos that I want to do. One of the ideas I have that I want to do next year is I want to do this year in movies. I'm going to start with 1980, talk about some of the movies that came out, some of the awards that were given out, some of the famous people that died, some of the famous people that were born that year, just kind of that year's impact on the entertainment sphere. Make those if you ever watch not History Channel, what the hell is that one that I like so much? There's a history channel on YouTube. I'm drawing a blank in the name now. I want to shout them out because they're an awesome channel. Let me see. I'd probably be quicker to find it on here. YouTube. Weird History, eh? Yeah, Weird History is a channel on YouTube that I like. Yeah, they do their timeline videos of every year. They've done it from the 70s, 80s, 90s. They're doing the 2000s right now. They actually, I think they're up to 2008 in the timeline video. It's more than just entertainment. It's like all news and everything that happened in that year that was important. But yeah, Weird History is a fantastic channel. You guys should go check out if you get a chance. But yeah, so some things are going to be happening next year. Hopefully we'll continue to grow. We had like real great growth for a while, like in the late summer, and then it completely stagnated. I think we've gone up like 4 subscribers in the last 6 months. I have no idea what happened. Whatever YouTube was doing was working out great until one day it wasn't. So, but I mean, I don't really care. I'm never going to do YouTube for a living anyway, so whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same with us. Yeah,
I'd rather just hang out with Alex and Nick and fucking Drew or Tex or Jeremy or Corey, whoever, talk shit and have some fun. That seems like a better way to do things anyway.
I agree.
I always end up forgetting to put these banners down there. I mean, if you guys want to donate, you can. It's just a link down in the description. I don't really give a shit though. I'm not here to e-beg for you guys. Stuart, the link to their channel is in the description below. Go check out this Alex and the Garbage Man. It is down there in the description below. I'm pretty sure I've got the right link in there. I know I had the wrong one for a while. I'm pretty sure I have the right link in there now. If nothing else, go look up Alex and the Garbage Man. You will find them doing their thing every Monday night at 9 o'clock. I will be on there with them to talk shit about movies or whatever else on Monday because I don't have to work Tuesday. So I can stay up a little bit later and I can hang out with the boys.
And we talk just a lot of shit. So
yeah, Tex gets in there and pisses everybody off in the chat by being uber conservative and a little bit too aggressive. But duh.
Like the hell you say.
The hell you say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely go check them out as well. Go check out all the guys that are down there in our description down there because there's some really great content creators down there. Guys like Night Watch Zone. I can never talk enough about that guy. I don't get a chance to watch him live anymore, but I usually listen to him during the day. He's a great guy. A lot of great movie creators, some other great people down there. So go check them out as well. Thanks to you, Dr. Nick, for coming and hang out with us. I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate all of you for coming and hang out with us tonight. Until next time, I'll see you on Monday. Here something next week.
See you guys.
I mean, deliciously evil. I like
yes.
that. We're going to use that. We're going to hashtag that somehow.
We got it. Yeah. Like, I like that. We got to run that. We got to run that back with something.
And I'm 100% that I spelled it wrong in the chat because I can't spell for shit. That's just my personal a flaw that I have. I can't spell for shit.
I spelled it wrong on my paper too. I know I did. Like, just brutalized it.
But hey, we're bro science. Don't believe anything we say. That's what you have across the bottom of your thing.
Always bro science. Don't
Thanks,
believe
everybody.
the shit we say. Bye, guys.
Bye.